Yes.
Okay. So that would be 110,000 divided by 20 plus 24 divided by 2. So, anong nakuha nating average assets? Paki-compute naman para interactive tayo.
20 plus. Wait lang po, manual calculator lang.
Sige lang, sige lang. Maski yung denominator na lang muna.
10 divided by 22. 5 po.
5. Kasi diniretso man na. So, 5. Tama. So, that would be our answer. Gets yung fixed asset turnover. Only relying on yung ating average fixed assets. Not the total assets. Next question tayo. So, dito, ang question ay payout ratio. So, that would be our earnings per share.
EPS.
And that would be our denominator. Out of our earnings per share, ilan doon yung binabayaran natin for dividends. So for the earnings per share that is computed by our net income minus preferred dividends divided by the common stock outstanding. So 20x4 tayo, no? So this one, this column. So yung ating net income ng 20x4 ay 15,000. Correct?
Yes po. Yes.
And then, magkano yung ating total preference dividend? Paki-multiply naman, Colleen, itong ating 0.75 times 1,2.
900 po.
So that is 900. So minus 900 divided by the common stock outstanding, which is 8,400. And that would be your earnings per share. So 15,000 minus 900 would be equal to 14,100 divided by 84.
1.69. Ay, 68.
68. So now that we know that, we can now divide our dividends per share, of course, referring to common shares. So that is 12,180. Again, hindi given yung dividend per share natin. Ano? Kasi ang given total dividends naman ng ating common shares. So this time, we divide 12,180 divided by 84 to get the DPS.
$1.45 po.
1.45. So, ang una natin ginawa, kinuha natin si EPS, that's step 1. At ang pangalawa, kinuha natin si TPS. Now that we know the formula or the amounts for the formula, 1.45 divided by 1.68, our payout ratio would be
0.86.
0.8631 or 86.31%. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Out of our earnings, 86.31% is being distributed back to our common shareholders. Kung ikaw si investor, gusto mo ng ganito, di ba? Kasi malaki-laki pala yung dinidistribute nilang income per year. Clear?
Yes po.
Okay. Sige. Next. The stock price per share must be. So, dividend payout ratio of 40%, annual dividend yield of 4%. Pag sinabi nating dividend yield, that would be our dividends per share divided by the market price per share. At ito yung tinatanong, di ba? The market price. Tapos pag sinabi nating dividend payout, remember our formula a while ago? Out of our earnings per share, ilan yung ating dividends per share? Okay? So what would be our pattern of solution here?
First.
The first step is to get the dividends per share. No? Kasi yun yung gagamitin nating connecting dito sa second part of our solution, which is to compute our market price. Naintindihan yung pattern? So
Pwede pong
first,
paulit.
sure.
Sorry.
First, we get the dividends per share kasi given yung dividend payout ratio. No? Bakit natin
Okay.
kailangan dividend per share? Gagamitin natin siya dito sa dividend yield formula para makuha yung market price per share.
First.
Okay. So, pwedeng hindi mo na i-rearrange yung formula. Sulat mo na lang DPS divided by EPS of 12 equals 40%. Kung ganyan, ano dapat itong DPS natin dito sa taas? Can you solve for it? Blank,
30 po. 30.
blank divided by 12 equals 40%. So, dapat mas maliit yung numerator natin. Kasi 40% siya ng 12. So, you should multiply. 12,
4.8 po.
ayun, times 40%, 4.8. Kung nagda-doubt ka, kung tama o mali yung sagot mo, you retry the formula. No? Dapat mag-make sense siya. Pag dinivide mo ba, 4.8 divided by 12? 0.4 ba yun?
Yes po.
Ayun. So, tama yung sagot natin na 4.8. So, the second step is to compute the market price itself. So, that is the dividend per share na na-compute na natin, 4.8, divided by the market price equals dividend yield of 4%. Anong sinasabi niyan? Itong market price natin ay, pag minultiply niya ng 4%, magiging 4.8. So, ano dapat yung market price natin?
Um, 0.19, not sure.
Kung 0.19 yan, i-divide mo 4.8 divided by 0.9, will it become 4%?
No.
Hindi, ano? So, ang dapat na gawin mo dyan is divide. So, 4.8
8.
divided by 4%.
12.
I think nasobrang ka ng isang zero. So, it should be, nakulangan ka ng isang zero, I should say. It should be 120. 4.8 divided by 0.04. I think 0.4 yung na-click mo sa calculator mo. So, 4.8
Yes po.
divided by 0.04, ayun, careful lang, it would be 120. So, the answer is letter dog. Clear?
Okay.
So, kinuha muna natin si DPS, tapos kinuha natin si market price. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Times interest earned. Ang times interest earned natin ay earnings before interest and taxes divided by interest. Correct? So, income before income taxes, 720, income tax 180, net income 540. So, kung gagawa tayo ng ating income statement, ito yung ating EBIT. Sinubtract natin si interest expense. Ito yung ating EBT. And then, sinubtract natin yung ating tax expense. And this would be our net income. Correct? So, anong
Yes po.
given? Itong 720, saan natin siya ilalagay? Income before income taxes.
Income before income. Sa EBIT.
Sa EBT. Kasi nabawas na yung tax niya dyan eh. Income tax na lang daw yung hindi nabawas. So, dito siya. Kuha.
Okay po.
Income expense. So, yun sa ating tax. So, 720 minus 180, 540. Tama ba yun? Testing natin. Dapat mag-line up yan lahat. 540. Nakuha mo ba yun?
Opo.
Okay, good. And then yung ating interest expense is 72. So yung EBIT natin, EBIT minus 72,000 equals 720. So mas malaki si EBIT kaysa sa EBT, right? So magkano yung
Yes.
EBIT natin?
792.
Alright. So 792. Ngayon, pwede nating isolve yung ating times interest earned. That would be 792 divided by 72, which is
11.
correct. Letter D. Okay? So 11.
Yes po.
Next one. Given these values, what are the firm's sales? Okay.
6.
So return on asset. Anong formula ng ating return on asset?
Net income divided by average total assets.
Okay. And then, ano yung ating asset turnover ratio? Wait lang ha,
Net
gusto
sales divided by
magpampusa namin.
average.
Wait lang. Namiming. Where were we? Okay. So, our asset turnover,
Formula.
what again? Anong formula natin?
Net sales divided by average total assets.
Okay. Tapos, ang pinapakompute ay net sales,
Net sales.
which is this one. Tama?
Yes po.
Okay. So, alam natin na net income divided by average assets is equal to ROA of
15%.
15%. And then, asset turnover ratio is sales divided by average assets.
Assets.
It's equal to 0.4. Okay, so first step is to get our average assets. Ang net income natin ay 2.1 million. So 2.1 million divided by something equals 15%. So dapat si average assets mo mas malaki. Siya yung denominator eh. So that would be
Divided by 15%. 14 million ba?
14 million. Very good. And then you copy your average assets here. And now we compute for the sales. Sales divided by 14 million equals 0.4. So si sales mo mas maliit sa 14 million. So that would be
5.6 million.
very good. So your answer would be letter B. Kumusta yung momentum natin so far? Okay lang ba?
Yes po.
Okay, good.
Makulit lang yung dogs ko, sorry.
Okay lang, wala naman ako naririnig. Next. Okay, calculate net working capital for each of the 2 years. In which year was there greater net working capital? So anong formula ng ating net working capital?
Oh my gosh, hindi ko alam.
That would be simply current assets minus current liability. So all you have to do here, di ba, ang daming pampalito? May second paragraph ka pang nakikita, di ba? Pero that's all
Yes
it.
po.
No? So focus,
Current
kaya napapansin mo yung technique natin, lagi kong sinisimulan sa question stem. Right? So,
yes po.
20x4, magkano yung ating net working capital? 195 minus 110, that would be
85,000.
85,000. And then, do it one more time here. That would be
195,000.
very good. So, 85 versus 195. Anong mas mataas na year?
X5.
Ayun, 20x5 yung ating mas mataas na year with an amount of 195,000 over 20x4 na may net working capital na 85. So, yun ha. You read the question stem, you identify what you need, and you focus on what you need. You save a lot of time by doing that. Can you imagine kung pinakilaman natin na yung iba dyan, di ba? So, sayang yung oras. Gets itong question na to?
Yes po.
Okay, next. Based on the following, debt to asset ratio. So, yung formula niya nandito na, debt, total debt, divided by total assets.
Asset.
So, markahan natin. Ito, asset. Ito, equity. Asset, equity. Asset, income. So, our total assets would be how much based on our marking? Paki-add naman lahat ng letter A, Pauline.
Yes po. 1 million.
Okay. So, 1 million. So, sabi natin, assets minus our debt is equal to our equity. Di ba? Parang accounting equation lang. Assets is equal to debt plus equity. So, hindi natin alam si debt, but we definitely can compute for our equity. How much is our equity? So, yung dalawang E.
250 plus 750 po.
750. Ngayon, baka dumapli sa isip mo, so hindi ba natin i-add si 400? So, kapag in-add mo kasi si 400, so sobra na yan sa assets natin, ano? So, hindi pwede. So, that's implying that you don't need to add it, right? Yung retained earnings, nandyan na yung 400,000 na income. So, to complete this formula, what would be our debt?
250.
Correct. And now you can solve for this one. Tama? Paki-substitute, anong formula natin? Debt is 250 divided by 1 million. It's equal to
0.25.
ayun, 25%. And of course, kung yan yung ating debt to asset ratio, yung ating equity ratio ay 75%. Sinasabi natin that your assets consist of 25% debt and 75% equity. Clear?
Yes po.
All right. Let's keep going. This one. Degree of operating leverage. So we have two formulas here. CM over EBIT or percentage change in EBIT divided by percentage change in sales. Correct? Okay. Pero anong problema? Hindi natin magamit tong formula natin in full because we don't know yet itong percentage change in EBIT. Diba? Alam natin yung percentage change in sales, which is 11.1%. Right? So
Yes
what
po.
we could actually do here is compute for the percentage change in EBIT using the degree of financial leverage. So di ba itong degree of financial leverage, may dalawa rin tong formula? That would be our EBIT divided by our net income or the percentage change in net income divided by percentage change in EBIT. Do we have the degree of financial leverage? Di ba na-compute na natin yan, which is 1.89. Nakuha? So, 1.89 is equal to the percentage change in net income given by what?
Yes po.
Which
7.5.
is 7.5% divided by something equals 1.89. So ano dapat yung denominator natin? A technique that you could do here is just ignore yung percent, no? So focus ka na lang sa 7.5 muna. 7.5 divided by something equals 1.89. Anong pwedeng sagot natin?
14.18.
Kung i-divide mo ba yung 14.18, 7.5 divided by 14.18? Will that be 1.89?
Ano, wait.
Di ba? So, ang technique dyan, pag nawawala yung baba, you multiply. 7.5 times 1.89. Pag nawawala yung sa taas, you divide. Okay? In this case, we multiply 7.5 times, or 7.5, sorry, divided by 1.89. That would be 3.97%. So that when you divide it, as I've mentioned, 7.5 divided by 3.97, that would be 1.89. Nakuha? So,
Yes po.
once again, i-repeat lang natin, kapag nawawala yung baba, you divide the numerator by the fraction itself. So, 7.5 divided by 1.89. Kung nawawala naman yung taas, you multiply the denominator, 3.97, by the factor or the fraction of 1.89 to get 7.5. Okay? Pero hindi yan yung sagot natin, right? That's just the first step, which is getting our EBIT. Now that we know that our change in EBIT is 3.97%, we can now solve for our degree of operating leverage. So step 1 is to get EBIT. Step 2 is to compute for the requirement. Paki-divide naman, again, you can ignore the signs na percentage 3.97.
0.35.
Ayun. 0.35. Wala, pero you see you have a very close answer here. Yes. Our answer would be letter A.
A.
Yes. Probably due to the rounding off of this factor rin kasi. Clear?
Yes po.
Very good. Pero mahirap yun, no? Kasi parang dalawa-dalawa yung kailangan mong isolve. You need to solve one first before you solve the other. Okay. Payout ratio. Once again, ang ating payout ratio ay dividend per share
DP.
divided by
Over
earnings per
EPS.
share. Okay. So, magkano yung ating dividends per share?
Dividends.
Sulat natin dito sa
50,000.
baba. Yan yung ating total dividends. We divide it by our number of shares, which is 2,000. So how much is our DPS?
25.
Very good. 25. And then we have your earnings per share para makompleto yung formula. That is net
Net
income
income
minus
minus
preferred
preferred.
dividend kung meron man, pero wala naman dito, ano? Divided
Yes,
by
wala.
our number of
Stock.
shares. So, paki-compute. Magkano yung ating numerator? That would be
200.
ayan, dinidiretso mo na
4.
ata lang. Ayan, sige.
4 po.
4. So, that is yung ating net income na 200,000. Baka na-divide mo dito 50,000 na, careful. Dapat ang dinivide mo dito 2,000. Ayun. So, how much? One more.
100.
Okay. 100. So, now, pwede mo nang i-compute yung ating payout ratio. 25 divided by 1. So, that would be
25.
ayun. So, kung hindi man pumasok yung meeting natin is I will send another meeting link, no, for the second part of our tutorial. So that would be our payout ratio, 25%. Yung earnings natin, 25% doon, bumabalik sa ating common stockholders. Kumusta so far? Okay lang ba yung momentum
Okay.
natin? Ayan. Don't worry,
Yes
no?
po.
Colleen, I'll pass this file to you naman once we're done. No?
Okay.
Next tayo. Diluted earnings per share. Okay. So the first one is to compute first for the earnings per share. Yun yung ating starting point. So basic earnings per share muna tayo. That would be our net income minus preferred dividends divided by our common stock outstanding. That would be 600,000. Meron ba tayong preferred dividends? Wala naman. Divided by
Wala.
our common shares outstanding is 250. So how much is our basic EPS?
2.4.
2.4.
2,400.
Okay. So magkano ngayon or paano ngayon yung magiging effect ng ating diluted earnings per share? Ang gagawin natin dyan ay first we compute for the after tax dahil bonds ito after tax interest expense, we divide it by the additional shares that would have been added. I-testing natin kung dilutive siya. I-relate natin siya dito sa 2.4. Okay? So, magkano yung ating after-tax interest expense? I'll write the formula. That would be 2.5 million. That's the bonds multiplied by 7% multiplied by 1 minus 40%. So, magkano yun?
105,000.
Very good. And the additional shares would be divided by convertible into 50,000 shares. So magkano yung effect nito? Hindi pa to yung sagot natin but we're just testing if it's dilutive. Magkano?
2.1 po.
2.1. So, ang tanong, dilutive ba to or hindi? Pag sinabi nating dilutive, it would cause our EPS to go down. So, dapat, itong na-compute natin, mas mababa kesa dito. So, dilutive ba siya or hindi?
Diluted po.
Dilutive. Because it would lead our basic EPS to go down. So, now, i-combine mo lang ngayon yung ating basic EPS. Tapos, i-add mo yung 105 at i-add mo yung ating 50. So, for the dilutive earnings per share,
2.35.
bilis So, 705 divided by 300,000. Kano?
2.35.
Ayun.
2.35.
2.35. So, you test kasi ang nakakalimutan ng students dito, dinidiretso nila na dagdag dito. Mali. Kasi what if hindi siya dilutive? Pag hindi siya dilutive, you just ignore. Kumbaga, pag na-compute natin dito, 2.6. Ignore mo na. Ang sagot mo sa dilutive, 2.4 pa rin. Nakuha?
Yes po.
Pero since lower siya ng 2.4, i-consider mo siya sa ating computation ng dilutive EPS. Okay. Next one. Price earnings ratio for 20x4. So, price divided by earnings per share. So, magkano yung ating market price per share?
18.
Very good. So, now you just have to solve for the net income or net income earnings per share. So, earnings per share, once again, naalala mo na yung formula ngayon? That would be
net income minus
correct,
preferred dividends
divided by
over common stock.
Ayun, common stock outstanding. Kung gusto mo maging specific, WACSO, di ba? Weighted average common stock outstanding, common shares outstanding. So that would be 100,000. How much is our preferred dividend?
45. Ay, may 8,000. I-add ko po ba yung 8,000? 8,000.
No, deduct.
Deduct.
Divide it by how much is our common stock outstanding?
50 shares.
Ayun, 50,000 shares. So that would be 92,000 divided by 50,000. Your EPS would be equal to
1.84.
1.84. So your price earnings ratio would be
9.78.
very good. Letter A. All right. So that is for that question. Ayan. Next one. What will its new current ratio be? So ngayon, current assets divided by current liabilities natin, 1.7 divided by 1.4. Pag nag-issue tayo ng 100,000 na new na stock, anong affected?
Nag-issue po ng
100,000 new stock. Debit, cash, credit, common stock. Tataas ba yung ating current assets?
yes po.
Yes, kasi may
Ay.
cash. Tataas ba yung ating current liabilities?
No.
No, kasi ang tataas equity. Nakuha. So that would be 1.8 divided by 1.4. Our current assets would be, or current ratio, I should say, would be
1.20. Ay,
correct. 1.29.
29.
Okay. Ayan. Next one. Profit margin. So by default, that would be net income divided by our sales. Sales less cost of goods sold equals gross profit. So ang ating gross profit, 385. Cost of goods sold, 605. So pataas tayo. Something minus 605, 385. Ibig sabihin, magkano dapat yung sales natin?
990.
Very good. 990,000. And that would mean that our profit margin would be net income divided by sales. Our net income is 110 divided by 990. Ang profit margin natin ay magiging
11.1.
ayun. Answer letter next. Times interest earned ratio. So once again, we would have our net income format here or income statement format. So EBIT minus interest equals EBT minus taxes equals net income. Net income for 18, interest expense 57,000, taxes 146,000. So kompletuhin natin anong magiging EBT natin. Something minus 146 is equal to 418. So taas, add back. That would be
564.
564. And then one more. 564 plus 57 would be
621.
ayun. And ito na yung ating times interest earned ratio. That would be 621 divided by 57,000. It would be
10.8. 9.
10.1. Ayan. So I'll just send another link to continue the remaining examples. So thank you, Colleen. I hope you're learning so far. I will send a
Yes po.
meeting in a few minutes.